Okay, so my team makes 200,000 plus cold calls a week. Here are the 8 objections that you get 99% of the time and exactly what to say. I used to think there were really only 7 objections. Now I know it's 8 after we did a couple more meetings. So I'm going to break down our whole process. So cold calling is like a fairy tale. So you are Prince Charming, but you're also the 11th guy that she meets after she was approached by 10 creepy guys. So homeless guy goes up to you, hey, you want to go out with me? No, 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 no. Then there's you. So immediately their prospect is going to say no in a bunch of different ways. Don't take the no at face value. You just have to buy a little bit more time to show that you're a good guy, you're normal, then everything will come through. So that's in your nonverbals as much as your words. So open, relaxed, not stressed from you're expecting the objections. You're like, because I'm going to give you all of the objections now. There's no reason to be stressed out. Okay, so objection number 1, we already do this in house. We already have an agency. So you say we work with your existing team to do this. We just want to find potential gaps in your process and improve them so the customer experience is better. And this is a really powerful frame because they're like, hey, we do this, and they're like, well, we also do this, and you're like, that's great. At the end of the day, if we can make your process better as consultants, it doesn't matter. Like the customer doesn't really know who's doing what in an organization. They just see what they see. If we can make an experience better, everybody wins. I think we can find some win-wins if we talk it through. Does that work for you? This even works like, let's say I have a landscaping business and they need somebody for pest removal, but they do everything else. I'm like, okay, I can just do pest removal. Like I just want to make their customers' life better. And that's a really powerful way to overcome it. The second one is, how did you get my number? So I always say, like, the fact is, in 2025, almost all search is done by AI. If your number is anywhere online, the AI is going to find it because it's trying to find the best way to reach you. It goes hand in hand with this line of work. To be honest, I'm really not sure how it works myself. I don't like to get into it with clients. Like, obviously, we know, if anybody who's doing outreach knows, that obviously the cell phone of the guy is going to convert better than the office number the administration gets it, right? But we don't want to tell them, oh, we're scraping. Just say we use AI. That's basically true. We use AI to scrape like 8 different data sources. The third one is, I'm not interested. So you say, okay, this is a Socratic answer because you're like, well, what does it mean? So I'm like, all right, when you say we're not interested, is it because you think there's a cost? Because there isn't. We give you a customized analysis. We only move forward with the client if we can see substantial savings or referrals or return on investment in the next 3 months. Like, I just closed an accounting client. They work with small businesses. They don't move forward unless they feel like they can make the guy at least $10,000 a year. So you're like, there's no cost. We only do it if we know it's going to work. The next one is, I'm not the right person. So you're like, okay, I understand. We actually like talking to people in the organization that don't necessarily have decision-making ability, but they experience it on a day-to-day level. They see the problem. Typically what we do, we have a conversation, just get to know what the issues are, and then if we can solve them from your perspective, we can run it up the chain of command. Or if you prefer, just refer us to the right person, but regardless, I'm sure we can help, and it's worth a conversation. Then you go into the rest of the script. And then the next objection that you get is, this is my personal number, I don't talk about work on it. They're like, how? It's my cell phone. My cell phone is my cell phone. Only my kids call me on my cell phone when they are late for soccer. How dare you? They want to make you feel like you're a bad person because you call them on their cell phone. You're like, I understand. You can just give me 20 seconds. I would explain why I reached out specifically. From there, just let me know if we should keep talking. If you're really not interested, we won't call you again on your work or cell phone. But I'd like the chance to explain what we do. Is that fair? So they're saying it's not fair you called me. Or like, can I just get 20 seconds to explain what we do? There's a reason I called you. And then they either say yes or no. Now is not a good time. I understand it's not a good time. Do you have 20 seconds? I just want to explain very quickly what we do, why I reached out to you specifically. And from there, just let me know if it's relevant to you. So all you're doing here is using the false time constraint. So like you go up to a girl in a coffee shop, hey, really quickly, I just wanted to let you know, blah, blah, blah. You're just saying the really quickly to get your foot in the door. And then you're like, is it okay? If they say no, they say no. You can always call them another day, or you could not call them. You don't have to work with everybody, guys. There's plenty of people to work with. We don't do X. It's not relevant to us. Okay, so you don't do X. Just to clarify, here's exactly what our company does. I just want to make sure there's no overlap. So it's the same thing. Whenever you give an objection, you always agree, and then you use the Socratic method. The Socratic method is like, okay, well, let's look at the numbers. Like, let's see what's really going on. Let's say you have a client like who does SEO. He's like, we do our own SEO, and I'm like, okay, here is the SEMrush. Here is you getting outranked by all of your competitors. When you say we do SEO, what does that actually mean? Does it mean you paid somebody on Fiverr? Because I'm seeing some weird Chinese backlinks. Like, I always just do Socratic method. I'm like asking them questions about the conclusion. The other thing that they do is like, where are you calling from? And I'm just like, just tell the truth. You're like, I'm calling from Egypt. I'm calling from Venezuela. I'm calling from Caracas. And then they're like, most Americans will be like, oh, that's interesting. I always wanted to go to Egypt. But curious. I heard Venezuela's very nice, but it's a dangerous regime. And then they're like, yeah, it's a little crazy, but, we get by. We have a good family. We have a good social network. Everybody takes care of everybody. My grandmother gives us coconuts. Just say whatever. And then they're like, well, you're not really an American company if you're calling from Egypt. And you're just like, well, AT&T gets a lot of callers from here. It's pretty normal. So you make them feel like, but that's pretty rare. Those are usually pretty hostile people. That's it. That's all. This is what you're so worried about. This is what you're so scared of. Just be fearless. Anyway, have a good day.